Hi there, I'm Janna Coumoundouros from Lilacpop Studio, and today I have a custom order for a ring, which I'm super excited about. So I am going to be taking this thick sterling silver stuff here, and I'm going to be making a ring that hopefully is going to look somewhat similar to this, although I don't necessarily have the tools to get this ridge in here really good, so this ought to be interesting to see how I end up doing it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to anneal the silver so that it makes it a little easier to work with, because I formed the ring because I got so excited and then realized I probably shouldn't have done that, because it'll be easier to get the little ridge that I need in there when it's flat. So I'm actually going to anneal it, and then I'm going to undo the work that I just did. So annealing just pretty much means you're going to be heating up your piece. You always want to keep it moving. Now that we got that step done, now we're just going to take it and unbend it. Got it most of the way, now I'm just going to hammer it. So now, I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm just going to draw a little line in there. So I'm kind of toying with different techniques to use. I think what I'm going to do is probably take a saw to it, and then I'm just going to try and like cut two lines in there just to kind of get a nice separation, and then I'll probably take a Dremel tool and just try and dig out the stuff in the center. I don't know if this is the best technique. I have not tested it before, so let's see what happens. Well, that totally did not work. So all it did was make a bunch of scratch marks on it. So I am going to switch out my Dremel for a cutting wheel and just try and gently start cutting through there. So we'll see if this works. Ooh, that puppy's getting hot. So I basically tried to put this little bit on there to try and kind of dig out that center area. So really what this is called is, let's see what happens when I do this, which is usually how I work. It's all about experimentation, and that's part of what I love about working with metal. Also that it's fairly durable, so I can't completely mess it up. Usually. Nice. Alright, so I'm going to try a different bit here. Now I'm going to try and kind of smooth those areas out that are in there. I'm not sure exactly which one I'm going to use. I'm going to try using this one and see what happens. It doesn't really fit in there. I'm going to have to do a different one, I think. So I can't quite see in this one little spot. It's just catching the light just right, so I'm going to use these. I know. It looks amazing. Ghostbusters, right? Totally. One of the things that I like to do is stamp my business name on the inside of the ring. So I'm going to stamp it with these itty bitty stamps. Do my best to line it up. I need to make a stamp myself, or have one made, I mean, that says Lilacpop really small, so I can just like get it with one whack. But for now, this is what I'm operating with. I'm going to actually form the ring. We know we're working with a size 11. And since we annealed it, I can actually bend this with my hands for now. At least part of the way. So right now this ring is a bit big. It's really hard to get it just right. The next step. So now that I've got the ring all nice and formed, stamped, the whole bit shined up, I'm going to add my other piece, which is thick gauge wire. It's like 1 or 2 sizes above earring wire, which I think is what, can't remember, like a 16, I think, 18, 16, something like that. So it fits into the groove just right, and I'm gonna not form it all the way around. I'm gonna just kind of overlap it like I did with my other rings, but I feel like it needs more than just one. It's a little boring. So I'm gonna take a thinner gauge wire and I'm gonna actually layer it next to it and put 2 little pieces in there. So I'm just kind of, you know, it's all about the art side of it, so I'm not gonna fill it in all the way. So I'm gonna cut it right about to there. And then next up, I'm going to get the edges nice and sanded. I'm going to actually tap the edges a little bit too to kind of flatten it out so it's not just like, you know, right in there. And then I'll cut the smaller piece. And then the next thing we will do is solder it all together and hope it works. So one thing that I've learned when I'm attaching the smaller ring into the bigger ring is always go a size smaller when you're forming it, because then when you put it in there and you get ready to solder it, it's going to really get in there nice and snug. If you try and make it the same size, you're going to get a little gap and stuff, and it's not going to solder nicely. So I have sprinkled a whole bunch of little pieces of solder here so that they are ready to get picked up. I sure hope this works. Ooh, doesn't that ring just look great? All right, so it came out of the pickle. The solder worked really, really well. It's all adhered. So out of the pickle, it comes kind of white like this. Now we're gonna buff it all up. And then we're gonna make it dirty again and then buff it up again. Beautiful. Nice and shiny and pretty, and now we're gonna make it not so shiny. So, as you can see, it's nice and patinaed. Now we're gonna just shine up those nice little areas. just a little bit. It's looking really good. So now we've got 2 rings. Pretty cool. So the last thing to do is to seal it up with some Renaissance wax. So here's the finished product. I'm super happy with it. As you can see, I stamped the inside with Lilacpop. And now we have 2 awesome rings.